The Chicago Bears have signed a big hitting safety, Major Burns, out of LSU. Question on the table is, what does he bring to this roster, and is there a shot at him making the final 53? We'll talk about all that and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. Do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Now, the Chicago Bears have gone out and signed a absolutely big hitter by bringing in Major Burns. Now, for those of you not thinking about MASH here, I'm sorry. That was a joke for people that are like 3 times my age and probably not watching this video, but I couldn't resist. I like MASH. Major Burns, come on. Anyway, the Chicago Bears have signed a really, really good run support and physical safety out of LSU. I mean, when you talk about what stands out in Major Burns' game, he's an aggressive downhill defender who closes in fast on ball carriers and delivers a really, really solid tackle. He led LSU in tackles in 2024. He was a freshman of the year as well in his time at LSU. I mean, when you talk about what he's really, really good at, very effective in the as a box safety, and has an immediate willingness that screams out on tape in run support. In fact, it's probably the thing that I feel is he's most comfortable at, with some really good size. Like I said, 6'2", 207. He showed explosiveness on a consistent basis. He's somebody who can get the hand up in coverage. Coverage is one of the issues that we'll talk about that has had him have to switch around roles in his career. But I mean, when you talk about somebody who can be used in a multitude of ways, especially in the run game, especially in the blitz game, that is Major Burns. And he just brings a confidence to his game. He's somebody who, I mean, when you talk about anytime he's on the field, he has that confidence that dominant DBs need. He has that confidence of like, there's no way that you're going to go out here and actually get the ball by me. I think a lot of people in that LSU secondary, when you hear them talk about him, they talk about the energy that he brings. They talk about the toughness that he brings, and they talk about how he was one of the leaders on that team, especially for battling back from some very key injuries that kept him out in quite a bit of time at his time at LSU, which is probably the reason that he ended up falling here to UDFA. Because when you look at the skill on tape, I mean, he's got plenty of it at a minimum, right? You look at him and say, okay, he's a safety and or a nickel DB that we can use in run packages on the defensive side of the ball. You see at a minimum that talent there. He's got great vert as well, 37.5-inch vertical jump that he put on display at his pro day. So he's somebody who can go up and get it. He also has great ball skills. When you talk about his experience going back into his past and looking him up a little bit, right? He was a former wide receiver, so he does a good job in coverage when he isn't beat in coverage, right? At getting the head around, turning around, getting his hands up, making sure that he's making legal plays. I think he tracks the ball really well. One of my favorite plays to find on him, especially just looking through like different highlights and looking through different footage of the game tape that I had on LSU, was one of the games where he plays against Missouri. I want to say this was 2024 against Missouri. Actually seals the game on Luther Burden. Now Luther Burden makes a move that, if you put a better ball on him, he's beat, right? That's really what stands out on tape. If the quarterback throws a good football, Luther's behind him, he's past him, you throw the ball in the right spot, boom, Luther's probably gone. You're probably talking about a house call for Luther Burden. But instead, Major Burns jumps the route, played it aggressive. The ball was underthrown. He caught it, pick six, touchdown. Those are the things that do stand out about him on tape as strengths. He seems like he does a really good job identifying different coverages and things like that. The problem is the consistency in technique that you see with this young man. And we'll talk about some of the weaknesses that he has as well. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Do you like the fact that the Bears went out and signed Major Burns here to a contract to bring him in this season as a UDFA and see real really what he's going to look like here. For me, when I look at it, listen, I see a player who, if he can stay healthy, should actually be somebody that makes this roster, should be somebody who is a key contributor to the actual 53-man roster. I see somebody who, especially in run defense, screams what Dennis Allen is looking for from a safety position here. I think that the injury history is probably the biggest question, and if you can make it through training camp, if you can get into the season right, I think there's a legitimate shot for him, but he did deal with a foot injury in 2021. He dealt with a neck injury in 2022, both causing him to miss some pretty significant time. I think those are issues that could be raised on his long-term availability here, and that is something that you got to weigh going into the season if you're letting somebody else go who last season, right, the DB unit was one outside of our top, right, outside of Jaquan Brisker, right, we had guys who were able to step in there and play a big role in those moments, right? You're taking that guy's job away by giving it to a young fella, and I think that there is going to be some of that happens here, but the injury concerns are going to be something that is brought up on the table, and more so, right, it is the coverage consistency. Listen, the one thing about the DBs that we do have on this team, the one thing about the safeties that we do have on this team, when you look at Jaquan Brisker, when you look at Kevin Byard, where they're comfortable at is in coverage. They do not get lost in coverage. They know where to be. They know how to diagnose the play. They know what, essentially, right, how to play whatever coverage they're in to not give the advantage to the wide receiver. The one thing about, going back to that Luther Burden play on Major Burns and a couple of other plays that you see is Major Burns is kind of more willing to give the receiver an advantage if it means that he can jump the route, ball hawk it, right? He is kind of a ball hawking, mentality in coverage as far as a safety. The problem is you don't have enough interceptions to show for it. In fact, there's more of the plays going the other way where you just got beat up in coverage and somebody's going down the field either to score a touchdown or to get wrapped up by safety opposite of him, or it just is you just getting beat and you wrapping up at the ankles because you thought you were going to be able to just gamble and play the route, be able to jump the route essentially, right? Like I think that is why you saw him make the change. Now this was his first season being full-time safety, and maybe that will help him a little bit more here and with some of that aggressiveness and being caught out of position, because it doesn't help you when you're in man coverage at the DB position. It doesn't help you when you're in that nickel slot spot, right? Like those are the moments to me where you can't have that many MAs, right? You can't have those missed assignments. You have to be on point. And listen, Dennis Allen is going to play a ton of man this season. We've already talked about it at nauseum when it comes to what this offense can be. So, you have to be sound in your technique. You have to be sound in your coverage skills, and the coverage consistency and the technique in coverage are two of the things that I think Major Burns probably struggles with the most. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. At a minimum, here's what I'll tell you exactly what you're getting. A hard-hitting safety who I would say thrived playing really close to the line of scrimmage. He has a good blend of physicality. He's got a good size. He's got confidence out of this world, which I said it just screams out on the tape. I think in some underneath zones, he showed some really strong moves. His best fit at the NFL level may end up being that strong safety kind of. Yeah, I'd probably say the strong safety is probably the best fit for him. And where he can he can attack downhill, he can cover tight ends or backs coming out of the backfield, which he was really good at wrapping up and making tackles in those situations. I don't think that he's somebody that you want to have out there and leave on an island right now. Now, again, that's this year, right? What is the coaching going to do? What is Al Harris going to add to his game? What is Dennis Allen going to add to his game? How are they going to coach these guys up, right? But as far as a baseline at the NFL level, I think that he versus tight ends, versus running backs, he's somebody that you can feel some confidence in. And if he can stay healthy and he can improve his consistency and coverage, I mean, he could carve out a really solid role as a rotational safety in this league, which is nothing to scoff at, who can play in some sub packages, who can play on special teams, who can bring you some energy on the field when you need it, which is something that is also important, and can be a sure tackler in that secondary unit. So for me, I love the get of Major Burns. I feel like he's a really, really solid solid piece. And he's somebody that I do think actually could make the 53-man roster again, health being the biggest concern here. But let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.